Jill says ongoing way more than we know how to fix it. This was in response to the video I made describing what the mark of the beast is and how it works. So yes, it is ongoing and it's becoming more and more sophisticated. So again, for anyone just catching up, the mark of the beast I explained in another video was basically just the system that the deep state or the cabal or whatever you want to call them, it's the system that they use to enslave everyone. The social security number, federal tax ID number, driver's license number, passport number, any kind of barcode or serial number or QR code that is used to keep track of you. The legal system, the court system, the judges, the police, the corporate construct that's enslaved the whole world, the financial enslavement, the GMOs, the chemtrails, the fluoride in the water, like everything they do to try to control you is part of that mark of the beast system. So how to fix it? The way to fix it is with knowledge. It's really just comes down to knowledge and people becoming awake and aware of how the whole matrix control system works, and then collectively creating a new reality with the power of our minds. So we are all very, very powerful creators, and it's our consciousness that can create and manifest in the vibrational light matrix. Now, the controllers that have enslaved this earth world through their corporate construct and through all their, their legal systems and their banking systems and their education systems that dumb people down, they know that we are powerful conscious creators. So they have to try very, very hard to suppress our consciousness. And again, this is why they have to put fluoride in the water and poison in your food and spray things in the air, because all this creates a toxic environment. So what happens is when people start becoming consciously expanded and they become awake and become aware of everything, then they naturally, after that awakening moment or whatever, when they realize, okay, yes, I am in a control matrix, now it's like, okay, how do I start getting out of it? And the way to start getting out of it is through knowledge and learning also how to terminate the contracts that has enslaved everyone. So again, one of the main things that people need to fix is their contracts, and starting to learn how contracting works, and also the language that the contracts are written in. So there's different sets and systems of language that are also used to enslave people. And in America and any English speaking country, English, the way that most people speak it, is the language of the slaves. And then there's a second language above it called legalese, which is a mix of Latin and some other different languages, but it's also primarily it's primarily using words that sound just like the words we use in English today, but they have different meanings. And when you start reading the Black's Law Dictionary and you start studying the Uniform Commercial Code and the US Code, like I've been recommending everyone to do, what you'll realize is that in the language that the legal system use, which is called legalese, the definitions of words that we use every day in the English language have different meanings. They have secret meanings. So one of the first steps is people need to become aware that they're going to have to learn a new language, and then they're going to have to learn how to start terminating contracts, because all throughout our lives, we have actually, not, I wouldn't say like voluntarily, but unknowingly contracted ourselves into the system of enslavement. And most of our parents started this before we were even old enough to know what was going on, by signing the birth certificate as informants. So if you actually go to vitalcheck.com and order a copy of your long form birth certificate, you'll see that your parents signed it and they're listed as informants. So that was the first slave contract, the birth certificate. That was also the slave contract that put you in the jurisdiction of the state, and it also created your social security number, which is also known as your slave surveillance number. Now, throughout your life, you are coerced into all kinds of other contracts, like the driver's license, marriage contracts. Anytime you've ever filled out a W-2 employee contract or a 1099 or any kind of tax form, those are all slave contracts. Even any kind of application that you've ever filled out where it asks you, are you a U.S. citizen? And every time you say, yes, I am a citizen, you tick the citizen box. Remember, what your birth certificate also created your citizenship. You're admitting to being a slave. You're admitting to being a slave to the state, the government. You're property of the government. So again, when you're a citizen and your parents sign the birth certificate, the state owns you and your children. So fixing this, one of the main things, again, is learning how to terminate these contracts, undoing the contracts that put us into slavery in the first place. So everyone has the right to rescission a contract. So again, that's one thing that I teach is, well, let's terminate that first thing, the citizenship, the birth certificate contract that created the citizenship, and that's called revoking your citizenship. And there's certain legal documents and contracts and things you fill out, and there's a process you go through to revoke your citizenship. And also part of that process is getting new passports that reflect your new status as a non-citizen with limited diplomatic immunity. So that's just like one of the first examples. That was one of the first things I did. But there's also all kinds of other slave contracts people get into, like any kind of like mortgage agreement or any kind of debt contract, like an automobile loan or anything. These are all slave contracts. These things can potentially be discharged. They can be reversed. And, there's a whole bunch of these kind of contracts that people get into throughout their life, not truly knowing and understanding what they are. So that's one way to fix it. The other way to fix it is, and again, this is going off the feedback that I get in my comments. The other way to fix this that people can immediately start putting into action is learning how to build an online business or do something online that generates money. Affiliate marketing, network marketing, trading crypto, trading forex, trading stocks, online consulting, online coaching, anything like that. Because when you have an income stream or multiple income streams, like I teach, from your computer and your smartphone, you can strategically relocate, because a lot of people want to break free, but they're stuck at a job in the big city where they're chemtrailed, they're tracked and monitored, there's matrix agents everywhere, they're taxed, they're enslaved, they're extorted by the police all the time. It's a toxic environment. All the people are NPC robots around them, and it's a very, very toxic place for them to live. So again, if you're in one of those situations, again, that's like one of the first steps also, just for your sanity and to raise your vibration. Get out of the big matrix controlled cities. And if you're not in a financial position to do it because you're stuck at a job all day, around the schedule of the job, start learning some of these skills that allow you to generate money online. And then once you feel comfortable enough, you go strategically relocate way on the outskirts where, you can be around nature and more farmland, and also have access to local farmers that grow the food and can sell you the food without all the GMO stuff in it. That's going to raise your vibration. It's going to make you more intelligent. Again, when you get your body healthy, your brain works better. So now you're going to be more optimized to learn this new language, because it is a lot of information. At first, it can be a little bit overwhelming trying to learn a new language. So you need to get your mind and your body clean and optimized so that you can absorb the information, comprehend it, and then begin putting it into action. So if anyone needs help with that, I do have a course that'll teach you how to do things like trade cryptocurrency. I also have tons of trainings on affiliate marketing. And then there's other communities and stuff that I'm part of that I can also share with you, where people are learning more about how the contracts work and how the legal system works, and which contracts we want to terminate. And again, it's going to be different for every situation. And but there's the communities also too. Join the communities and network with other people that are also learning, because there's a lot of power in having multiple sources that are teaching you as well. But TikTok again is a great place to just find like-minded people, and then from here you can kind of branch off into the different communities that resonate best with you. So if you want any of the free courses or anything that I have, just direct message me and I'll send you the links.